Pretzel is taking us on a journey today. Susie. Hold on just a second. I was so sure I was going to be put together tonight, and as always, that is not the case. Because, like, why be organized and ready to go on time when you can not? She says to herself, while continually not being organized or ready to go on time. Alright. You just hang out there. Ugh. Don't mind me. I'm just getting organized. Hi, Tanya. Welcome in. Last stream before PAX Unplugged nonsense. I'm not ready. Oh, I do too. I basically have my suitcase with a whole pile of things sitting on top of it, but nothing actually, like, packed. I haven't done laundry. I haven't actually planned my outfits. I typically try, for cons and things, to plan out, like, here's 4 outfits, like, or basically an outfit a day, with 1 extra, and usually I have like jeans or something, and I'll throw in a couple tops that give me kind of flexible about like, well, what tone do I want for this day? Packing at the last minute is a time-honored tradition. Why can I not just be, you know, a procrastinator all the time? I don't know where oh, there it is. Apologies, y'all. I'm like looking for my cup, waiting for my water to heat. Because for those of you who have never been here before, during winter, when it's cold, I just heat water in my electric kettle and just drink hot water. Or warm water, depends on how I'm feeling that day. So if you just heard that beeping, that was me. Or that was my... so that I'm still hydrating more than just tea and coffee. Or other libations, but it doesn't have to be cold. What? Is this the right? Are we on elevator right now? We are. Elevator music doing its thing. Pretzel's just on it today. Okay. Sorry, I'm finally... There's one camera that I always wait to set up last because it's in the way, and I can't walk around with it there. So we're doing that right now, and then we will legit get started. So first, we're going to play with some dice. But not for excessively long, because I also need to do some sewing on this quilt. I mean, I could also probably pack and not need to do laundry, but I have very specific things that I want to take, and I'm going to guess that most of that is, Alright, let's swap over. Let me see... That's not the thing I wanted to click, but it'll work perfectly. Actually, no, this is... Look at this, I place things well. Hey, Leaf. Ugh, hot water. Leaf has strong feelings about... This is... My electric kettle does so much work for me during the winter. Not just for tea, not just for the French press, which is how I make my coffee, but also just to be hot water. Hey, Tom. Hey, DC. Welcome in, everyone. So yeah, we, as we anticipated, or some people called me out, we are going to be working on the quilt. I'm trying to finish before I leave. It's not Pirate's quilt. Pirate gave me clearance to not have it done in time for PAX Unplugged. So instead, we're just going to... that'll be my post-PAX project. So what I'm working on is the quilt that's meant as a charity fundraising thing for my parents. I think It's really interesting. I think you all have fun looking at it. But before that, we're going to look at some dice. So first off, for those of you that don't know, Cypher is a terrible enabler. And let me know if the lighting here is okay. It seems like a lot. I feel like I can't get, like, the best lighting. My lighting is always terrible. Yeah, now I'm like a dice making, sewing streamer. I was actually, if I had gotten the quilt done over the weekend, I was actually planning to make dice while crocheting tonight, but that's not what happened. So first off, we'll do a little show and tell, and then we'll pop out the latest dice. So for those of you who saw it, this very first, let me know if the lighting is okay, by the way. Dice collection is growing. Hi, Melissa. So this very first set here, this is the one that I made on stream with Cypher last Tuesday, or that Cypher walked me through. So this is my very first dice set ever. I won't say that I haven't tried to crochet a dice bag. So that was dice set 1. Here was semi-failed dice set 2. And when I say semi-failed, 3 of the dice are okay. The 4th is still workable, but not great. And then 3 definitely 100% failed. The other thing that was funny about this set, and I'm not sure how well it comes through, is that I was trying to make the pink darker. So I put a pink color in, then I was like, oh, I want it to be darker than like bright pink, so let me add a drop of black. And instead it made this weird brown with a pink tint to it. So I don't know what I was doing here, but like lessons learned in mixing color. So that was dice set 2. That was like a partial success. Dice set 3 was me finally actually trying to do 2 separate bits of color. So I don't know how well this will show. Not great. I don't have really good lighting, so I'm sorry, y'all. I'm like trying to figure out what's like how do I make my lighting better? I'll just like turn this up. So it's really hard, like I didn't even do well taking photos of it, but essentially I used a yellow, like I actually split my resin and did a yellow, and then this one might actually work, and then an orange. I kind of wanted the orange to be darker than it was, but like it's technically a two-tone set of, now it's too much. I'm like trying to figure out where the camera is so y'all can see it, but also my lighting is really, really bad. Like, how do I make this work with lighting? Lighting is the worst. I'm like, can I put this close enough that it focuses and y'all can kind of sort of see the color tone? Lessons, now that you all are also getting like me trying to figure out how to actually show off dice. So let me see if I'm trying to look at the other screen, which is kind of hidden behind the first screen because of how I move my setup around, to see if like you can actually make out. I feel like I need to take a flashlight to it. Anyways, so this was 2 colors. It turned out pretty damn good. I'm much proud of it, but the set that I did after that might be my favorite. So let's see if one of these will actually show it well enough. So these are like a light green. There's a light blue, and then I put drops of just a drop of blue ink into it, and then kind of tried to let it swirl around when I added the resin to give it a sort of smoky look. It didn't turn out 100%, and again, little difficult to actually like make it out. Like, is it too close? Focus on the Focus on the dice. Nothing's focusing on the dice. You can kind of see it there. Yeah, this is, so like photographing dice and being able to show dice to you all is very, very difficult apparently. It's much easier to make out when you can see it close, like in good light. So other thing I have to figure out, learning how to like properly photograph dice. Again, my setup here, I just like shifted everything to the side to make space for, and my camera is just struggling at focusing. Moved all my stuff because we're mainly gonna be sewing tonight, but I wanted to show off the dice that I've been making. So yeah, it's interesting, and I also only have like these resin ink, so I don't have like mica powders or anything else that would have like the not translucent look. So we are gonna open the set that I poured last night. There's gonna be a couple bubbles in them. I don't know that they turned out perfectly. I've been doing a lot of testing to be like, well, how would I do colors? How would I mix? How would I do this? For the idea that eventually I will have more things. Especially things like glitter, which is the one thing I don't currently have and I really, really, really want. So I figured I'd show you all with me opening one and we can see how they turned out. I'm hoping they turned out pretty good. My logic here was that this could be maybe like galaxy dice if I had, you know, stuff with glitter. Which again, I don't. Thanks, Blackjack. Yeah, I figure like as I do more and as I practice, obviously I'm like working with the most basic. Ooh, these might actually really be fun. How well are they gonna? I like can't win with my lighting here. Actually, I wonder. Let's help ourselves. Let's like move this little piece out of the way. And maybe it won't be quite as bad without that white in the backgrounds. Yeah, these are fun with like, ah! I just threw it. I mean, I guess that's what dice is for, but... I'm not going to bring all of them with me to PAX, but I'll bring some. I have not inked them yet. One, because I figured I would do it in bulk, which might be a mistake. And two, because I was sort of hoping... I haven't sanded any of these. Come on. Come on. Which I'd like to do first before I paint them, because I'm assuming that any painting I do will not be ruined, but not look as good if I sand it afterwards. The die wanted to go on an adventure. That is exactly it. It was a D4. Alright. So yeah, there's a lot, and like there's things that I haven't, just because of nature of like this timing that I haven't done, where it's like, oh, you want to like try swirling stuff together, why don't you put resin for one color in and then let it sit for several hours so it thickens, and then do and then put the rest in and things like that, where I was like, oh, that's something I should plan for a weekend when I'm not stressed out about a million other things. Like right now, because PAX Unplugged is days away and I am entirely unprepared. Also, I finally, the week of, made a PAX command and updated it for the PAX Unplugged stuff. So for those of you who are going to be at PAX Unplugged, or are going to be keeping up with streams for PAX Unplugged, I am going to be on two things. One will be Saturday night, because I know what days are. Starting at 7 p.m., I'm playing in a session of Into the Motherlands. That will be streamed, I believe, on PAX 3, or it'll be in the TTRPG Live Play Theater. You can type !PAX for the definitely correct information. All right, so now we've You can't see it. But again, the colors don't quite... Alright, I just want one of you. There we go. Ooh, look at it! Look at it! None of the colors are going to come through great. I hate this. Thanks for that. Come on, get out. Me, every time I talk to... every time I see Astarion on screen doing Cypher's playthroughs. Get out! Sanding is the dice-making final boss. That's slightly daunting. I really want glitter. Also, I'm very excited. So the like liquid glitter thing that... Who is it? Was it you, Blackjack, who recommended... is it Ribinator? Somebody on YouTube? Who for a very long time was like, oh, I'm using this specific like liquid glitter... and Blick Art Supplies sells it for $5 a thing, which is cheaper than how I can find it on... Ooh, how I can find it... Get out! Darn you! On, like, Amazon and stuff, so I just need to decide what else I want to buy from them to make it worth spending the shipping. Will you get out of the mold, okay? Listen, you've had your chance. Your time is now. There we go. All right. So let's set this to the side for a second. We're just gonna... Oh, it looks so good. Okay, so the purple ended up a little darker. So there's... I'm trying to see what else. Yeah, there's like one little hole here. Like, it's still doable. It's not the worst thing ever, but I didn't get all the bubbles out. Clearly. I don't know. This might end up being like really... Though, I don't know. The light... Ooh! Light makes it so y'all can kind of see. It's mostly purple with hints of blues and greens. So the purple ended up being a little more overpowering than I was aiming for. Yeah, I ended up with some bubbles in a few spots. Like, they're not the best. The bubbles are the main thing working against me, I think, in some cases. Yes, and I was actually watching that video, and I was like, this is a lot of work. And then I was like, I found the exact one that he was talking about, where I guess it depends. I don't know how quickly it'll go. If it's anything like the colors, not that quickly if you're not making dice, like, every single day. But found it for cheaper than what I could on Amazon, relatively. So I'll probably just end up buying it and being like, I'm not the type of person who's going to make my own after watching the process of him doing it. I'm definitely one of those people who goes, you know what, I'll pay the premium to get it without having. But yeah, all right, I'll have to make sure to take some good photos because I don't know that y'all can really get the... Let me see if I... camera. Wow, camera does not want to stay where I want it to go. Getting it at like an angle where you can see all the colors. So there's a mostly purple. So I basically split the resin for this. So I did a half and half when I was mixing it. And then one half became the purple, which is the darker. And then the other half I split into 3. I did a pink, a blue, and a... green. I think the pink is in here. I can just barely see it, but it's definitely lost kind of inside the purple. But hopefully, but the green and the blue are popping out. So I think if I'd been able to put glitter into this, this would have been a nice, like, almost galaxy-esque. Awesome! Looks so good. I'm so excited. I don't know that I'm going to get another build or another set of dice in before PAX Unplugged, just because I have other things to get done as much as I would like to try. But probably what I will do is I'm going to bring most of these to PAX with me, and I'm just going to try and con one of the people, Cypher, one of the people, ooh, we ended up lopsided. Like Cypher or Pyra to let me use some of their paint to paint them after, I guess maybe I assume after I sanded them. I assume I should sand them. So like not all of these are perfect, but they're good enough. Like this one does have, like my D4 here does have a couple of bubbles on the sides, which you can't see, I'm sorry y'all. Where clearly they rose to the top and it wasn't perfect, but it's not so bad that I couldn't still use it as dice. Like it's not like this poor guy with a whole like giant hole in it. So anyways, the net of this is I'm enjoying dice making. It seems I now have another hobby. It's actually quite entertaining because I was telling one of my coworkers and they're like, Mandy, you don't need another crafty hobby. You have so many already. And I was like, yes, you are correct. So I'm going to swap us real quick to BRB. I will run a very quick ad while that's happening because I'm actually planning in advance. And then we're going to swap over to sewing things. Dun, dun, dun. All right. Also, for those of you that can still hear me, I'm also going to attempt to take a photo of my newest dice. Because I can't not. So welcome to the nonsense that is, I'm not going to say anything important here. I'm just going to be BSing while I'm moving things around to set up to sew. Dun, dun. But I don't need more hobbies, and yet here I am with another hobby. Because I'm assuming... I shouldn't say I'm assuming. I know better than that. Let's go put the dice someplace else. I don't know. Does... Alright. I gotta move things around. Dun, 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 dun. Reminder to hydrate. Thanks. I will get my water in a second, right after I move everything around. Alright. We gonna be sewing now, y'all. Because if you don't know, I lack the ability to appropriately plan. I'm also thinking of sneaky ways to do a kindness to people. Hopefully none of whom are here to hear that. Alright. Yes, a sneaky kindness. I mean, I'm sure some people will anticipate kindness happening. Okay. Let's swap over to crafting. We're gonna use this camera real quick. So I'm gonna show you all what we're doing. So I have a bunch of pieces. Actually, wait, let's swap over this one so y'all can actually see what I'm talking about. I have a bunch of things. They look like this. So for those of you that remember, I'm trying the quilt-as-you-go method, which basically means you have your fabric on top, your batting in the middle, fabric on the bottom, and you stitch it all together in one way or another, and then you're going to put all of the pieces together, and that's how you build your quilt. So in this case, I've put two pieces together already. So we have a small piece, large piece. Both of these, if I zoom up, hopefully you can see the stitching on them. And then what we have here in the middle is on the front and the back, two strips of fabric that are actually holding this together. So that's basically like this. It's two pieces held together by that strip of fabric, or the two. So that's really what we're going to be doing tonight. Is we're going to be repetitively stitching these pieces on. So you put one on the front, one on the back. On one side, we'll stitch it together. We'll attach the other piece on one side and flip it all around. And essentially, we're just going to repeat this until it's done. So, sewing things, yay! I wasn't sure if it would work actually before we get too far ahead of ourselves. Let me go ahead and plug in the iron because I do need to press during this. But yeah, for those of you who, I also will say, because the last time we streamed was, well, I streamed was last Monday night and appeared on Cypher's stream on Tuesday night. I hope everyone had a good week and weekend. If you celebrated Thanksgiving, I hope it was good. Even if you didn't, but you had the time off, I hope you had a nice long weekend. I played Magic for too long with friends on Wednesday, and then I crashed another friend's dinner on Thursday. I shouldn't say crashed. I was invited. How I messed all of this up. For those of you who are going to pack some plugs, I hope you are further along than I am when it comes to packing, because the answer is I'm not packed at all. Pretzel is doing something today. Pretzel's always taking us on a journey. All right. So this does get a little, I don't want to say convoluted, but a little interesting because of how you have to place all the pieces together to make sure that they're folding correctly and your back is your back and your front is your front. So we will clip this on and we will fold it over so y'all can see, and we will hopefully have placed this in the correct spot. And if you did all of your sizing on everything correctly, it all folds in perfectly. This is about an inch wide strip of fabric. I took it through a bias tape maker that's about a 1/2 inch. So basically what that does is it takes the 1 inch fabric, folds each side under a 1/4 inch. So you end up with a 1/2 inch top and then 1/4 inches fold it under, and if you do all of that right, theoretically, that means when I put it all together, there's a 1/4 inch of each panel underneath that should fold all together perfectly and kind of be flush up against each other when it's done. And we're going to hope that this does work as intended. So if I've pinned this correctly, I forgot to swap to the crafts channel. If I pin this correctly, basically it unfolds and we're seeing the back. So yay, we did do it right. You're indeed entirely packed. I am 100% not packed. I have my suitcase out, so yay, we have done that. I also have the pile of like extra things I'm thinking of where I'm like, oh, this is for people, including the curse drinks. Curse drinks are part of this. And then guess what, y'all? I didn't properly even up the top edge. So now we need to shift it down just a little bit. There we go. Okay. I feel like this song belongs in, if I'm perfectly honest, I feel like this song belongs in Jet Set Radio. Tell me I'm wrong. The answer is I'm not. In case you weren't sure of that. All right. I shifted it down a little bit, so I think I should be okay now. I promise I will catch up in chat in just a second. Okay. Not further along, but you have fewer fashion options to choose from. I have a good idea. The thing that's always interesting specifically for shows like PAX and also PAX Unplugged and PAX East is also that those occur during winter, which is a little rough because you need to say like, okay, what am I comfortable with that will also be warm enough? Now, granted, theoretically, you'll spend most of the time in the con, so, and I do believe they have a coat check, but it's kind of the principle of the matter to be like, well, it's still cold. You know, like, the dealer's hall is a giant open room. There's no way that that gets heated well enough to be warm all the time. It's just warmer in areas with a lot of traffic. My music has stopped, which I will resolve in just a second. This ended up being, I think, a little uneven. In fairness, actually, it's mostly even on the top. It's the bottom that'll be. So there we go. So we have stitched it together. We turn it sideways. It is now mostly done. Let's see. You packed magic cards. That counts. Absolutely counts. My magic cards that I so far intend to take with me are sitting in a pile to be added. It's the pile of things I'm bringing. Just run. I mean, fair. Fair with somebody. I mean, I have absolutely been at like cons or events and things like that where it's like, okay, let's all just cuddle. And by cuddle, we mean please help keep us warm. This is going to be a little bit uneven, but that's fine. We'll even it out at the end. So here we're just going to take the iron to this real quick. Honestly, it would probably work if I probably actually should try to shift it down. Well, that's a pain. I thought I had it pretty even and I didn't. Well, guess what, y'all? We're just gonna start tonight by, you know, seam ripping. At first I thought it was like not far enough to be good enough, but I would have to trim a bit to make this work, and it actually, it just, despite trying to even it up, apparently I didn't do a good job of that. So this is why I'm not confident that we're going to complete this, because what's the first thing I do? Despite this being like the easiest, simplest part of this, the first thing I do is I botch it. But yeah, so basically I just have like a pile of things. I also have a decent idea. So for those of you who have seen me at cons before, surprisingly, you're going to see me in a lot of similar outfits. Because I have like, they're basically my con going outfits. They're like, these make me look cool, so therefore, I'm going to wear them. The things that might change along the way, accessories. I might, you know, filter in a new shirt that I like the look of with one of my specific pairs of pants. Ugh. Dun, 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 dun. Wait, we're supposed to look... I said that I'm attempting to look cool. I don't know if it actually works, but I think that I do. And for me, the confidence is the important part. I want to feel cool while dealing with my anxieties of being at cons and meeting people and socializing and being on panels and talking about things. Oh, so I talked about doing Into the Motherlands, and I forgot the other panel I'm going to be on. Sunday at 1:30 p.m., I will be part of the Freelancing 301 panel. I'm going to be speaking from my experience of almost 15 years working in various marketing, communications, and brand management roles. So it's not me speaking from the perspective of work, but rather my experience and things people should consider when they're thinking about freelancing. Music froze on me again. The only cool thing is you're brilliant. Hey, I also have blue in my hair. That seems to be the theme for this show. We'll all be twinsies. We lose so much time to my failure. And I thought about it too, where I was like, oh, this is like not lined up. And then I'm like, I think it's close enough. No, I should have taken the time to do it correctly. So one of the challenges, I think, oftentimes with things for sewing, and a lot of what I do, is that you have relatively large pieces you're trying to line up together. And I don't actually, like when I have the projects and stuff laid out, I don't actually have that much open space, despite what it might seem like. Blue hair squad strikes again. Yeah, I basically have a mix of kind of blues and other stuff. My hairdresser called it mermaid hair, so that's what we're going with. I know you all can't see it right now because I have my hair up. All right, let's see if we can. Man, I'm gonna get so much done tonight. Guess what, y'all? I've literally gotten nothing done tonight. I took dice out of the mold. That's what we've accomplished. I stitched one row before I botched it by having to. But I'm super stoked, besides the, the general anxiety. I have a lot of pre-con anxiety, and I think, in fairness to this, it's because I have too many things happening before I leave. So it's like, I'm trying to finish a quilt. I haven't packed, I haven't done laundry. There's some work stuff going on I gotta deal with, what have you. And it's all leading up to stressing me out before I even leave. But I'll have a blast once I'm there. It's just the getting there part that needs to... That'll be a little less than ideal. The most boring thing you all could sit and watch happen is definitely seam ripping. There's supposedly, I've seen videos of like a faster, easier way to seam rip, but the 2 times I've tried that, it also ripped my fabric, which is not what we're going for here. So I'm doing the very slow little bit at a time because I do not trust that. And I have spent too much time prepping this material since it's pre-stitched and everything, to ruin it by trying something with a sewing hack that could go badly. We live in the Northeast where no one has any space. I mean, basically. We're just trying our best with what little space we have. I have more space than I used to. The last place I lived was significantly less than this. And honestly, the only reason I even have this is because when I was moving, this place was about the only ones who, one, had a spot open that was in my price range, and it just ended up being like a bigger footprint than I was going for. But I finally was like, oh, I'll take it, because like the things I want from this are worth more than trying to wait for something else to come out, which like thank God I did, because guess what, y'all? I moved in November of 2019, and less than 6 months later I was working from home because of COVID, and my old place would have been absolutely terrible. There we go. Took us a few minutes, but we got it. Head pats for Susie. I promise Susie will get all of the head pats. All right. The other thing is I always try to have like drinks within range, and whether that's water or something else, and that also works against me. There's not enough general space, and then there's definitely not enough tabletop space. Well, crap. How did I just do this, y'all? Oh. This way. Of course, I've just frayed the edge going through all of this. Okay, let's try this again, but better this time. And by better, we mean just with less fail. All right. Okay, if I did this right, this will turn out, theoretically, it's much better. Emphasis on theoretically. Okay. I promise she will. It's just getting her to actually show up when and where I want her is easier said than done. And she had already made a nest on the bed tonight, so she was like, "Nah, I'm not keeping you company." All right. Even if it's not perfect this time, we're sticking to it because we are not seam ripping again. Elevator music taking us somewhere today. Well, I should rephrase that. The elevator playlist is taking us somewhere today. I don't think this is actually supposed to be elevator music. I've accepted that. It's just like an eclectic mix of random music. Well, the bottom's still gonna be off, y'all, so... I'm not sure if... Well, my bobbin ran out. Good part is it ran out at the end. And I actually have another bobbin because for some reason I have a ton of black thread that was just hanging out on bobbins that I apparently didn't finish projects with. So we're just gonna dump the next one in and keep going. Susie's gonna have a blast at daycare. They always love having her. So that makes my life easier. To drop her off very early on Thursday. My train leaves, I think, at like 7:45. Right, well, it's uneven at the bottom, but hopefully the top looks better. Yeah, top looks better. So, like, there was a benefit to what I did. For the most part. Like, we'll accept this. Alright, let's iron it real quick. And then essentially all we do after that is we're going to take the top. Whoop, I just threw dice on the floor. Not the dice I made, other dice. So you can basically see that I have lined up the edges. They are, for the most part, pretty flush, which is what we want. We're going to take, as I mentioned, this, you can kind of see this has a fold in it. So we're going to just take, fold, make sure that I have the correct fold. Fold it over. And then we are going to pin this down so it stays while I stitch. And then we are going to stitch on the top. You pick a color that for the bobbin thread, so we chose black so that it matches your strips of fabric, and will be, theoretically, if you do this right, less noticeable. Emphasis on theoretically and on doing this right, which we know is not my best skill. Pretzel, sometimes I don't know what you're giving me. Oh, the bottom isn't even. So the final size of this is not going to be perfect. There's two reasons why. I'm really annoyed. This piece is just short. Two reasons for that. One is I measured out, and this is a lesson learned, and I've put it in my notes. I measured out the fabric to the size if I was stitching this like a normal quilt top. But that is not the case. So once I actually added in all of the free motion stitching that I did, what happens essentially is that it shortens the fabric because it all gets scrunched up from the stitching. So what were, 17-inch long panels became like 16 3/4. Pretzel taking us on a journey, y'all, like it does. In this case, we're just stitching straight down the row to hold all of this in place. We kind of want to be close to the edge, but not so close that the stitch ends up outside the bounds of the fabric that's underneath, which did happen on the other side, but it was a little less noticeable. All right. I have a lot of dice in precarious places, so let's just move that. So now, it's not perfectly straight, but it's stitched down here on the top, and it gives us this addition, and then if we fold it over, it's also stitched on the other side. Again, for the most part, it's okay, but there's a couple of areas where it went off the edge. Not much you can do because that's based on how well I actually measured these and did the bias tape of them together, which I did alright at, but not great at. So theoretically, the way you're supposed to do this, or the way that I should have done this, is that you would be stitching everything larger, and then cutting it down to square. And so I cut the fabric, which I should have cut a little bit larger, and then stitch it, and then trim to the right size. Basically, I just kind of like skipped a step, or I didn't make everything quite as large as it needed to be for me to get the perfect sizing I'm looking for. Overall, it'll still be good sizing. The biggest challenge is going to be that I will have to trim up all of the edges so that the rows will fit together and be flush. And that does introduce, potential for essentially mistakes. Or to end up having to trim a lot of size off. Hopefully that won't be the case. But if it's like a 1/4 inch here, a 1/4 inch there, and I have to do it 4 or 5 times, we are going to cut a few inches off. Oh, there we go, throwing more dice. Luckily, this is not the dice I made. There's a whole bunch of stuff on the floor. It's fine, I'll clean that up later. This is what I get for trying to do too many things on one tabletop. But yeah, so how's everyone doing today? All right. I heard a sound. I want to do it this way. No, I want to do it this way. Which way am I doing this? Oh, it's a painting pirate. Hello, welcome in. Hi. Here, I'll show you all before I try to put this together. Hi, I am attempting to pull a quilt together and don't know how well that's going. Hey, Mitherin. Hi, Leaf. You were also rating, but you were already here. Hey, Lily, and also thank you for that resub. 12 months. Wow, has it been a year? Hey, Pirate. I hope the rest of your games went well. So, I'm doing a quilt-as-you-go method to try and put this quilt together. So there are 3 different fabrics that we're using. I will bring this up close so you all can see it. Essentially, I went ahead and pre-made the sandwiches of the quilt. So there is the top fabric, the batting in between, and then our backing fabric. And then I stitched it all together, and now I'm doing these, this middle strip, which is how I'm actually putting the pieces together. And so that's on the front and the back, and essentially it will turn this into, it'll be like a multi-pane window in that the quilt will have a frame over each panel. So we are in the middle of trying to attach another piece. Not going great, y'all. And like, logically, it makes perfect sense. I just don't know that I'm gonna have this done in time to mail it out Wednesday. So yeah, fun times, fun times. I heard another sound effect. Hello, welcome. Antiquated anachronism. Okay, I can word. I was like, can I read this? Yes, I can. Wait, I think I want it this way. Y'all, I don't remember how we just did this. All right, if I want it to be like this. You know what? I know what I'm doing wrong. It's because I have this placed in the worst. I'm like, none of this is working. Yes, there's a reason for that. All right, so for it to end up like this, that means that we need to stitch it this way. Is this correct? Hold on. Hold on, y'all. I am going to get this right. I know. DC, remember to put PAX. Oh, good call. I have the benefit that my PAX badge, I have to get at will call, which is going to be annoying, but also means that I get to bypass the, oh crap, did I remember my badge? So, essentially what we're doing, that you all can't see very well, is that I am attempting to line up the top edge of the two pieces. Now the benefit here is it doesn't have to be lined up to the top of the fabric, it just needs, or to the top of the piece I'm attaching it to, it just needs to line up to the kind of top of the other panels. So if I lay this down, and then we're pinning our edges together, or clipping them, I should say. Gonna have to shuffle how my table is set up behind me so I can ideally do this better than what I'm doing right now, because this is getting a little unwieldy. And my music has paused again. Pretzel has been taking us on another journey, y'all. For those of you that have been here before, I'm sorry. I should actually do an introduction. Hi, everyone. I'm Lady Luck 34. Let me actually swap to this one. Here we go. What am I doing? Hi, everyone. I'm Lady Luck 34. My pronouns are she, her. Or I use the pronouns for she. I can't word. It's Monday. And I'm a variety streamer who does crafty things and video games. And right now we're attempting to finish this quilt so I can mail it out on Wednesday because I hate myself. Pirate, if I haven't said it, I'm telling you now, I'm sorry, your quilt will not be ready for PAX Unplugged. But I promise that once we get past that, we will get to it. I promise. The good part is that this one that I've been working on is actually good practice, so hopefully that means yours will look better when it's all said and done. I got ahead of myself. Well, actually, realistically, I think I could have gotten this all done, like time-wise. The problem I ran into was motivation. Just because I think I've just been doing so many quilt projects that has ultimately worked against me. I get to do both. Bought a badge I'm giving to a friend, but I have to do will call for your speaker badge. So you panic and the will call line. Yay! So you can be like me last year, which is that I'm not even gonna ask how I managed that. Which is that I was trying though, Pirate. I was trying. Okay. I wanted to be able to give it to you, and then I picked up all these other projects and I sabotaged myself. And then I realized too, where I'm like, I had to moderate everything. I had to moderate what I was doing craft-wise, especially sewing, because the thing I always want to do, or that I want to be careful of, is that I don't want this to not be fun. So while I theoretically could have gotten all of this quilting done over the past week that I took off and with the holiday and stuff like that, I was doing other things because I needed a break from quilting. But I tried, Pirate. I tried. Yeah, I was talking about my general social anxiety and also pre-con anxiety because I've been trying to do too much and that has worked against me. But this is fine. I did finally make a PAX command. So there's dice things in the corner that you all can't see that I keep knocking off because this keeps this keeps getting bigger. Okay, so for those of you who came in on the raid, I had stitched this piece at the top already. So now we've stitched this one, and here's what's gonna do. We're gonna fold it over. Woohoo, looks shiny. If we flip it, the back piece is done. That's what the stitch we just did is. I'm gonna iron it, and then we're gonna fold this piece over and stitch it down, and that will have attached the panel piece. So once we get in a groove of doing this, it's gonna go pretty quickly. It's just getting in the groove. I was showing off my dice that I've been making because my friends are enablers earlier in stream. If we decide you all want to break and you want to see the dice live, I'll go grab them from where I left them in the other room because I needed them out of the way. They were taking up space that I clearly don't have. You know what I need? I might put this onto the Etsy things I'm going to buy myself. You can get like little magnets that you set on the side of, like attached to the side of your machine, and those will hold needles. So you can just grab one. I might get one of those for this because this is... It's fine when I don't have so many things up here and I have the room to have my pin cushion, but this is a kind of large pin cushion, and probably having something smaller would be more effective for me. But anyways, yes, I'm now, for those of you that don't know, I'm now apparently also going to be making resin dice. Because why not pick up another hobby? Because I don't have enough crafty hobbies already. I needed another. All right. So we're just pinning and clipping this whole thing together. Yeah, let me, we'll sew this down and I'll go grab them. It'll actually give me a second, to go. Let's just make this just a little bit closer. There we go. So in this case, we're just stitching a straight line. This folds and keeps the top of this strip of fabric down here, and basically allows us, is the second piece that attaches these two panels of fabric together. We will do an official dice making stream as well. It won't just, well, basically we're going to start fusing that into our schedule of things. I would anticipate that the way I'll probably do it is like dice making days, because you have to sit and let things, wait for things to cure or whatever else. Well, that was, what? All right, let's just move some of this dice someplace else. Just ignore all of the noises you all may or may not be hearing in the background. It's fine. All right, that was cutting it a little close there. But yeah, so that now has attached the strip here, puts the whole thing together. If we turn it around, we have a piece on the back, and we're all set. Dice making is fun. So now we're going to do this one. We will need, so as I said, we have a bunch of straps, these little 1-inch wide that I have ironed and folded over. So mostly what we're doing here is I just need to kind of estimate and measure out reasonable distance. We do 2. And then whatever is left over goes into a pile over here because those will eventually get cut together to be used. So essentially I'm doing a full panel across, or a full round of panels across. And then what we will do from there is I'm going to make all of the rows first because it's going to be a process for me to trim everything to size. And then trim everything so that they're mostly even, top and bottom, like height, and clear, get rid of any excess fabric on each end. And then from there, it will be, wow, words are hard. Then I'm going to have to attach the rows together. So doing basically the same process that I'm doing up and down, left and right. And that will obviously be longer because this will end up being 45, between 42, hopefully if I did it right, between 42 and 45 inches wide. And then after all of that, I need to bind the edges. Or the edge, the raw edge of the... Alright. So in this case, we're taking the strip that we did, we're clipping it down, and then we're going to fold it over and clip on the other side as well. Ooh, I cut this one almost too short. It should be fine. Alright. So again, we're just going to do the same thing. Stitch a line down. Then we'll attach the next piece on the back, stitch it together, and then stitch the front down. So theoretically, the way this is supposed to work, this method is called the quilt-as-you-go. And it's meant to be a like scrap buster, where you're doing this little by little as you have scraps of fabric and scraps of batting left over. But of course, I was trying to look for a faster way. I don't know if this was actually faster. What I wanted was this is gonna sound funny. I didn't want the stitching to take as long. And part of the hassle of it is that when the quilt is really big, doing the stitching on it is quite difficult, as I'm learning with Pirate's quilt. So I'm attempting to do this in such a way that makes it a little bit faster. We've learned from last time. I know better now. I'll get faster at this as I go. That's really what's gonna happen here. But yeah, Mithrin, if you're gonna hang out for a little bit, I would like to finish this row of panels, and then I am happy to go grab and show my dice. I will warn you all that I don't quite have the lighting set up really well here for showing off dice, or at least getting to see like little details. Instead, you know, I don't have a DSLR camera, so it's only as good as the camera functions. So it's not the best, but it will at least, you know, you'll get an idea of what the colors and things are. Also, for anybody who didn't hear this come up, I think in Pirate Stream, in somebody's stream, is I found, I don't want to call it a cheat, but I was basically like, I need, one of the things that people do to get bubbles out of their resin, if they don't have a pressure pot, is to, like, warm the resin in advance. So, like, put it in, you know, warm water that it sits in before they're ready to actually mix and things like that. And I was like, well, I just need to warm it enough for the bubbles to rise. I also was watching a video of a woman who's like, oh, I have this like heater from when I used to do nails, like a little teeny tiny heater that she used for doing like drying out nails and gel for that and stuff. And she just would like aim it very briefly at the resin to help the bubbles rise and stuff. And I was like, well, can't I just put it on? Here's the way in which, I don't want to say it's a cheat, but ways in which you get around some of these things. I'm like, well, I have this candle warmer. If I keep an eye on it and I'm using like silicone mixing cups, like, can't I just, that's what the issue is. Can't I just like set it on there for a minute or two, let it heat the resin so that the bubbles rise, and then take it off before, like, it speeds up the reaction a little bit, but if you do it right, so Tom, candle warmers are for people like me who maybe don't want to have a flame, like an open flame, in their home, or in my case, in my apartment. And so what you do instead is the candle sitting on it heats it so the wax, you know, the candle wax melts and you get the smell of it, but you don't have to have an open flame. So it's just like a little panel that heats up is really what it is. And so you get the smell of the candle without having to have the fire, really, is what it is. And then technically you can just keep going. So when you turn it off, you know, the candle will reharden, and or I should say, the candle will harden back into its non-liquid wax form. And you can just, in this way, repeat the process. And then you don't have to worry about, like, oh, I've, like, lit this candle long enough that the wick is fallen into an awkward place and now I can't light the candle. Like, you can just keep going. Yeah, like, for me, it's basically, like, outside of, you know, when you're going to lose power and you need the lighting, like, candles are really for scent. And just because I live in apartments and stuff like that, and I've had some with very fickle fire alarms, it's just an easier overall thing to have a candle warmer. So I threw my resin after I had mixed it into a nice little, or into the, after I'd mixed it in the silicone cups, and just threw it, honestly, for just a couple minutes. It's not even that long. I could probably even do less, but since I'm usually like doing, the 2 times I've done it is when I've been doing multicolored, so I'm like, oh, I finished mixing one, let me throw it up onto the candle warmer, and then while it's sitting there, I'll mix the other one. All right. Ugh. Come on. Move my wine glass someplace else. So anyways, in the grand scheme of things, two things you all should be aware of. One is, I will now add resin dice making to the things I will do on this channel. I'm actually, like I said, probably what I'm going to do is, it's like taking the time and doing it properly. If I'm not just doing one color, which I've been experimenting with multicolors and things like that, means that it's really more of like an hour plus, especially if you're going to let things sit properly. So I'm like, well, why not? Why not, like, do dice making, and then I can do things like crochet in between or what have you. This is just a little bit awkward just because of... Good enough. Okay. I would say it does pretty good, broadly speaking. I do a combination of, like, as I'm going, I'm cleaning with cleaning the bulk of it with like an alcohol wipe, and then afterwards, once I'm done, I take everything in and then wash it with soap and warm water. Alright. So now we're just going to go ahead and do the exact same thing that we've been doing. So this will be the last panel on this row. There are 4 rows. So if I really sit down and focus, I can probably get another couple. Well, actually, probably what I will do is I'm going to, tomorrow on the work day, I'll bring everything out by my desk, and I will take the time to clip all these little things together like I'm doing here, so that basically I can get like the sort of little monotonous but kind of time-consuming pieces done when I can't sew, and then it's a lot of just like, all right, stitch and iron, and hopefully that means that everything will go a little bit quicker. Once I'm ready and can actually sit down and stitch. That would be my hope, at least. Like, try and streamline so that the time that I'm not at the sewing machine can be optimized, so that when I am at the sewing machine, I can just focus on sewing. Alright, you know what? I cut this one too long. I heard a sound. Please hold. Hello, welcome in. Kenny the Lemur, hi. How are you today? I normally see you in Zero's stream, right? Hopefully I have the right lemur in the correct stream. I'm gonna be like, well, there is a lemur, but it's not me and not in that stream. And I'll be like, well, sorry, I got it wrong. Ugh. But as you can see, this is the challenge with this, is it starts to get unwieldy once you have a lot of the panels together. But this will be the last one for the width. And it can become a bigger problem for me later when I'm combining the rows together. Oh no, hi. I hope you're doing well. I was like, I know I've seen you in other streams, but I couldn't remember which streams they were. So I was like, are you normally in Zero streams? Also, hello. Glad you're doing well. I'm sorry, I cannot multitask well at all right now. Like sew and talk at the same time? Impossible. And then I was making fun of myself where I'm like, just watch, there will be a lemur, but it won't be you, and I'll have gotten it all wrong, and then you're going to be like, you're talking to the wrong person. But it was... I was right, yes! Okay, hi, welcome in. Thank you for the follow. Hope you're doing well. Alright. Last panel, y'all. Is it this side? No, it's this side. I'm going to get this right eventually, okay? Eventually. I'm working on a quilt-as-you-go quilt, because I wasn't actually quilting as I go. I just decided to use this because I thought it would be faster, and it sort of is, but it also sort of isn't. So like, you know, these things happen. And then after I finish attaching this panel, we'll take a short break, and I will show you all the resin dice that I've been making, because now I have another crafty hobby. Not that I need more, but why not? The why not is my friends are enablers, and these are the types of things that happen to me. Back to jazzy grooves. We're listening to a pretzel playlist that's titled The Elevator, and I thought it was elevator music the first time I chose this, but it takes us on a very eclectic journey of music. And so it's a little bit of a joke to us all, the wide array of sounds we get from this very specific playlist that is not elevator music at all. What are friends for? Yay for all sorts. Yeah, I mean, what are friends for if not enabling you to give you more crafts? I already have enough expensive hobbies that take up a lot of space, y'all. I did not actually need more. I sew, I crochet, I play video games. How I cut all of this too short. Alright. Dun dun. Jazzy. Okay. So what we're doing here, I will show you, is that I did all of these panels individually. And now we are, to make the quilt, we are bringing all of our panels together. So these have been, let's use this one. This one's a little bit easier. You can see, so this, stitching on this, I did one by one. I can actually show you one of the other ones. And then now we're using these strips of fabric, which you can kind of see here, to bring it all together. So you sew one to the front and you sew one to the back, and then you're just going to sew it in two other ways, and it's going to eventually turn it from what it is here, which is incomplete, to what it is there. And you get a nice little strip in the back, and that's how we're making this quilt. Don't think pretzel playlists work anymore. Oh, I don't know. It always shows as technically still being in the elevator playlist, but the elevator playlist takes us on a journey. I mean, mostly I just want some background noise while we're doing crafty things, so it works for me. But it is kind of, as mentioned, it's a journey. All right, let's clip you. Come here. And then basically we're going to fold the top down, and we are going to stitch this, and then that will enclose the raw edges of our panels, and we'll attach them, or finish attaching them together. It's the first time I've ever done a quilt in this way. It's meant more for like scrap busting and like doing over a period of time, because you're just using leftover pieces of fabric to make it. But I said, no, this is how I'm going to attempt to make a whole quilt, because I'm ridiculous. And I keep committing to things that I should have just let go. I should have said no. But especially if it's something for like charity, I can't say no. That's just not who I am as a person. Which is probably detrimental to myself, but you know, as long as I know who I am, even as I'm like, I should not say yes to this, and then I say yes. Okay. Oh god, this one's really uneven at the bottom, and this is why we have to trim everything. Because they're all uneven. They're mostly even at the top. It's really just the bottom that ended up short. So there you go. We have now attached one more panel. So here's what the lowest row, we're gonna go from side to side, lowest row is gonna look like. So we're alternating the large and the small pieces. It's going to be a little checkerboard-like in the sense that we will now, on the next row up, we will also alternate the pieces, but we're going to be alternating the dark and light separately. So we will start with the dark material as the short panel, and then a lighter material as the center panel, and that will go across. And so we are a quarter of stitching our panels together done. All right, so I'm going to set it to BRB for a moment. I'm going to run a quick ad, and while I do that, I'm going to do a drink refill and also go get the dice. So we will be right back. And then for those of you who are not getting ads because you're subbed, you can just listen to me in the background as I walk around. The pros and cons of having a wireless headset is that I can take you all with me as I wander my apartment. And I'm going to actually remember to bring back the dice, which was the whole reason I did this. No. See, this sounds like elevator music for those of you that can still hear it. Also, the issue with ads, and I don't know how to adjust this, it might be something on the dashboard, is I don't actually see the countdown, so I'm just like, are ads running? Are they still running? Are ads done? Has it been 2 minutes? I don't know. It's probably something I should look into to make sure I can actually keep track of it. Dun 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 dun. All right. Woohoo. Let me check. Bum 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 bum. Well, I'm gonna hope that the ads are done, because it ain't telling me. All right, let me move my mouse out of the way. Swap scenes. We'll bring the camera. I'm like trying to. There we go. Look at that. Now you can see some dice. So, let me partition them. None of them have been sanded. None of them have been painted or inked, whatever you want to call it. Okay, show and tell time. Ugh. All right. Let's hope the lighting and the camera zoom will work. So here is our very first set of resin dice. I made these on Cypher's stream last Tuesday, 21st. And they're pretty. I like them. So that's all one solid color. This is my second set of dice, which was kind of a failed set because I botched several of them, as you can kind of see here at the front. And also, this is not how colors work. So I thought that adding black to pink would darken it. And that is absolutely not what happened. It made this weird brown color with a pink tone. I also attempted to throw in some little crystal flake things, which you can kind of see at the bottom of the 6. But pro tip, unless you're using UV resin, you need to plan differently because if it hasn't already partially hardened, they will sink. So that'll be a separate test at a later time. Dice set number 3 turned out really good. Like there's still bubbles in here. I don't use I don't have a pressure pot or anything. So if I'm trying to like find a good one that you can kind of see, so these actually use, I split the resin in two, and I did one as a yellow and one as an orange, and then sort of mix them together. So it's not, I don't know that it's very easy to see on the camera, but you get both tones in them. They're just kind of blurred together rather than harsh lines. So that's dice set number 3. This is dice set number 4. So these ones I did 2 colors. I did a light green and then a kind of lighter blue. And then what I did is I put the light green in, and then I put in a droplet of ink into the mold, and then put the blue on top. So we ended up with this mixed green blue, and it's not super easy to tell in the camera, just because lighting sucks and everything, but there's like little clouds of the blue, of the dark blue ink, kind of throughout. Here, this one might get it a little bit better. As I mentioned, I don't have the best camera, so I'm trying to figure out how to like show this to you all, sort of. And have it focus and also it's also very light here. The way the lighting is great. And then the set that we popped out of the mold at the very beginning of stream is this one. I was doing a test of, like if I was gonna mix together some colors and I wanted it to be kind of galaxy-esque. So the base is a purple that's a little bit darker. I threw in a little bit of blue, a little bit of pink, which kind of pops in a couple of spots with the right lighting, and then topped off with a kind of light green tealish color. The idea being is that if I had a like mica powders or something that would that would not be translucent, and then threw in some glitter, this might look like it could be stars. So I'm not sure if it actually worked out that way, but I tried. Come on, focus. Part of the challenge here is getting it to like focus in a way where you can see it and the lighting is good enough. So anyways, none of them are sanded. So these are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sets of dice I have made so far, with my dice making kit that my friends enabled me with. So this is what I've been doing around sewing, because of course that's what I've been doing around sewing. So this is what we've made. So now that I've shown all of these off, and I've also thrown a bunch of dice onto the floor, let's move this out of the way, and we're gonna go back and see if we can't power through some more sewing. So let's move you back up and set you over here. Oh, sorry, a little lopsided. Slightly less lopsided. Still a little lopsided, but slightly less lopsided. But yeah, so when I talk about making dice, that's kind of what I've been doing so far. All right, let's take a quick I need to check my gallery because I laid out this quilt before. I just did it wrong. This is not actually how I originally laid it out. Well. Guess what? It's too late now. I've stitched them together. Well, that's okay. That's what the paneling is for. Well. Okay. Not me looking at the I didn't even correctly reference the photos. It's really bad, y'all. Alright, so we need 2 of these. We need 2 of these. I mean, it'll be fine. I think it'll still turn out fine. It's just more the principle of the matter that I can't read my own photos. Alright. Dun dun. But thank you for the compliments. I appreciate you. And that you make me feel better about the stuff that I'm making. Alright. Hi, Pirate. I hope you're having... I hope, did I ask, how did the rest of Arena go? Did you get your 5 wins? I have to believe that you did. Paint up 2 things to continue to put in dice now. I mean, I wouldn't say no. I think that's one of the things I'm working up to, which is that it's like, okay, now the next step is, the next step becomes figuring out the timing and stuff to get, to start putting stuff in. So, like, starting with, like, little crystal flakes and things. Also, Blackjack, are you still here or have you headed off? I was going to ask you a question. Or maybe I think you answered or said something about it in chat way early on at the beginning. Did not. Got to 3 and lost the last match. Oh, no! Like, that's just, that's a lot of damage. Alright. Also, don't you dare buy anything before, any additional cards before you get to packs. This time I am threatening you. Which sounds kind of bad when I say it like that. But, Pirate. If you're gonna lose big. I mean, fair. Like, just, you know, go out with a bang? I guess. Also, what the heck, Pirate? Didn't block because I wanted to see how badly they could hit you. I mean, I talked about playing through a whole game and not attacking once. In fairness, like, I started out okay, and then I just could not get any lands. So everybody else was like, I have 10 lands. I'm like, I still have 4. I cannot throw almost any of the creatures in my hand because they're all too high cost. And there's no way that I can even get them out, much less do anything with them. So I'm going to help myself by doing, going ahead and clipping these 2 together to start with. just so that I can hopefully move a little bit faster in terms of stitching these. We're not going to go too much longer tonight just because it is the week of PAX Unplugged, and I got, as much as I want to do a longer stream and knock a bit more of this quilt out, I also want to be very... I haven't packed. I haven't prepped. There's a lot I need to get done in the next 48 hours. Pirate, do I want to know what you... Well, I mean, like, I want to know because I'm nosy and I'm like, ooh, a gift. But also Pirate. No gifts are necessary. You should accept my kindness, but you don't have to do kindness in return. No, my bobbin ran out. How far back did it run out? Like, not terrible, but, like, decently far. What the heck is this? It got itself. Well, that's one way to go about it. What is this packing you speak of? Not anything. Brian, I want you to know I had nothing prepared. Well, I should rephrase this. Not nothing prepared, but in my mind, I'm like, oh, I haven't prepped anything for PAX-U. It's not even on my calendar, so I can set additional reminders. Like, all of them are on my PAX Nav app calendar, so that it'll give me reminders. But, like, for the stuff we're doing, freaking, it was already in my calendar. Apparently, as soon as I was like, oh, I'm on these panels, or maybe also possible, Cypher could have just been like, yo, I'm sending you into your calendar so that you don't forget. So here I am being like, I have nothing prepared, but I do have things prepared, but I am also very much not packed right now. I am not packed at all. I'm taking the train. I leave early Thursday morning, so I do need to get all of my packing done basically by Wednesday night. Basically, so here's how I pack. Here's how I pack, y'all. Is that I get out my suitcase and I open it and it's like on the floor. And just as I think of things, I go grab them and I chuck them in the suitcase. Nothing's actually packed. It's just a pile in the suitcase that I will eventually organize when I'm ready to actually pack. So that's what I have right now, is I have a pile of stuff on top of a suitcase. Haven't even done lunch today. I mean, laundry might also be a thing that I need. Well, no, I definitely. If there are a couple of items I want to take for which I will have to do laundry just for, like, those two items. I like how all of us are like, yeah, we're functioning adults. Hold on, wait. I have a screenshot for something I saw on, that is very appropriate for this, that I think is applicable to all of us. Where are you? I'm assuming that this is a screenshot from, like, a TikTok or something, but it's being a procrastinator but also a perfectionist, so you're constantly stressed about the quality of the work you haven't even started, but apply this to packing. I'm stressed about whether my packing will get done and everything will be fine for the pack I haven't done yet. So yeah, this is just who we are. It's fine. We know who we are. So my pack, fling it all toward the open suitcase until it makes, I mean, basically. Wait, I want this side. Listen, I know who I am. Is really what I will say here. Also, Brian, I'm excited to see you if you're still lurking. Let there be nonsense. Right. We all share the same travel brain. I'm glad. I'm glad. The other good thing about PAX Unplugged is that it's not super far from like a Target and CVS and things like that. So if you wanted to walk and like get something you missed that's like not dice, not that you wouldn't be able to buy dice at PAX Unplugged, but you know. Luckily this year I've now started making my own dice, so rather than having to worry about buying dice, I have to worry about trying to pawn my dice off on other people. Please, friends, take this. So Casey's usually out for a few days before so I can collect the things. See, exactly. That's just how this works. I have 2 children. Oh, that's uneven. Alright, hold on. I moved it too far down. Let's try this again. Some of us are just here for nonsense, is really, really what I will say. I see so many people. I'm very excited while also socially anxious. So I am a primarily outgoing person, but as I've gotten older, I've been like, I'm a little bit better at understanding what my tolerance for social interaction is. So like, I'm still anxious about it. But at the same time, I'll just be like, okay, cool, I'm done. And just leave. Okay. That's better. I run a business, totally an adult. All of us, we know how to adult, is what I'm taking away from this. Trim all of our threads. Excited too. Still deciding if we're going to try and make a... I mean... Always worth trying again? Alright. Oh yes. Perfect, perfect, perfect. It's a little looser than I would like at the top, but I think it'll be fine. Yeah. Okay. Oh, so much quilt stuff in the way. Like, where do I put everything? I don't know. Alright. So now that we've done that, we're gonna take Um, as with before, I'm just going to fold this over, clip, and then pin. Had it in a bag hanging from your suitcase handle over. Oh no! No! I'm sitting here going like, do I remember this or did this happen when I was not around? A lot of things happened last year. The nice thing is since I'm taking the train, I can use train time to like prep anything or work my way through anything where I'm like, have I got my thoughts for freelancing 301 prepped? I have a pretty good idea where the things I want to touch on, but we'll see how it goes. All right, and then I'll just clip the bottom. Can you just, there we go. Cooperate with me here, stuff. Okay. No, clip the wrong side, y'all. But it's fine. You know what? This little piece of thread is not going to cooperate, so we're just going to trim it. I feel like we're in like a, I don't know, sitcom theme song right now. And this feels like it's the menu song for like a cozy game. All right. There we go. So now it's a little bit more noticeable that we have a dark light with our piece in between. And this is how we're attaching all the things. Oh, question. Yeah, I meant to email you and ask, and then, you know, life has just been happening like it does. So yeah, if you get that out, I'll read through and make sure I'm all set from the train. Because as a quick reminder, if y'all don't know, I am going to be doing two things at PAX Unplugged. On Saturday, I'm going to be part of a crew playing Into the Motherlands, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern in the TTRPG live play theater, with GM'd by the amazing and poor unfortunate soul Cypher of Tyr, to myself, DM Jazzy Hands, Urban Bohemian, and Fairbear. That will be streamed. I believe that's being streamed on PAX 3, twitch.tv/PAX3. And then on Sunday, not streamed, at 1:30 p.m. Eastern, I will be joining the amazing Brian Cortijo and several others who's escape me right now. Lauren Urban, Lauren Oboe. I just know her by the oboe is what I always remember. The Muse, and more people that I've completely and utterly forgotten. I'm sorry. I apologize. But that'll be at 1:30 in the Leviathan Theater, where we will be talking Freelancing 301. And I will be speaking on that from my experience. I say this pending the questions Brian gives us, of nearly 15 years working in marketing, communications, and brand management, which I think are really good things for people to consider when they're when they are their business. Well, that's gonna be a problem. What did I do here? Oh no, it worked out. It just seemed short. All right. So yeah, good times. That one is not streamed, so just fair warning. That's not what we wanted. We want this guy, who we are going to preemptively go ahead and cut for as well. But yeah, very excited. I think I attended, I was just an attendee for the Freelancer 301 panel last year, and there was some really good stuff that came out of that. So I'm very excited to take part in it this year. This is one of the ones I messed up. Good to know. Where's my water? Dun, da, da. I've been walking around with the straw in my water, not because I need the straw, but because one, I think it's funny, but mostly because when I was making dice last night, or 2 nights ago. You know, it was last night. I was like, wait, this will be so much easier for me to drink while I've, been messing with resin and I have the gloves on if I have a straw, and then I don't have to pick up the cup. I can just like reach over and drink from it. So basically I'm a very large child is what I would say. But it worked. So sticking with it. But yeah. On one side, I like the timing for when PAX Unplugged is, but on the other side, it being right after Thanksgiving is slightly frustrating. Just because I feel like it kind of comes in as one of those like, oof, there's so much going on right beforehand. Let me check time. 10:15. All right. We're going to attach this last panel and then probably go ahead and call it a night. Not because I don't want to keep going. We're actually in a pretty good groove, and that's mildly annoying to me. But if I can prep everything tomorrow around meetings, then in the evening I can probably just power sew and potentially get all of this done. But yeah, so very excited for PAX Unplugged. As mentioned, because why not? You all know now that I'm going to be adding dice making to the list of things that we do on this channel. I don't need more crafts, but now I have more crafts. Also, in case you all didn't know, I had picked up a beginner embroidery kit thinking that was going to be my next craft. Well, I still have it for whenever I get around to it. I guess we'll just have to be my logic. Because why not more crafts? Though embroidery for me wasn't something that I thought I was going to be doing like a significant amount of just embroidery. It was that I wanted to learn the skills so that if I ever wanted to add like an embroidery embellishment to something I was sewing, I would kind of know how to do it, or I would have an idea of how to. I also picked up knitting needles at one point, thinking that I was going to, for fun, also learn how to knit, which I know I crochet, but knitting and crochet is not the same. And yeah, we'll see if that ever happens either. So this is just a lot of me being like, I have too many hobbies and I need a whole lot less. Also, they're expensive hobbies. Or I should say they're just not cheap hobbies. No. We need to shift it down. It's too high. Like, they don't have to fit perfectly. Or they don't have to be perfectly even, because I am going to have to trim stuff regardless. But that was a little too off. So anyways, also, I've been working on stuff. Well, I should say work on stuff. It's more like just creative exercises for myself. For NaNoWriMo, I've only missed 2 days. I think I'm somewhere around like 10,000 words. For those of you who have not been here when I talk about National Novel Writing Month before, I'm usually not trying to actually write a novel. I just like it for like the creative thinking exercises and the accountability. So I'm usually aiming to just do, you know, if I write regularly for a month, I feel good. And if I get, 10, 15, 20,000 words in the process of that, I'm happy. I think it's unfortunately been exacerbated by all the other things that I'm doing. So like if I didn't have a million other projects I was working on, I would probably, you know what, let's be smart and move our water where it won't get knocked over. I probably would have done more writing because I wouldn't have been working on a million other projects. But that's not how we roll around here. For those of you that are regulars, you know how this goes. I don't know, Leaf, I have so many options. They've been good. I have a couple where it's like, it's interesting because some are, like, I don't want to say they don't work, but some are better than others, in the sense of like, oh yeah, this like gave me a lot to work with and I write, 1,000 words. And then some are just like, nah, this ain't working for me, and I just end up writing like 100 words. Any words written is progress for me, or an accomplishment, so I'm not too concerned about how many I actually write, but of course I like it when I can write more. Safety and hydration. Two most important things. Alright, let me just iron this real quick. Yeah. Look at that! Look at that! But anyways, yes. So, have you been writing, Leaf? A win is a win. Well, that's the thing for like, because again, let me be very transparent here. I have the benefit that none of these things that I am doing are my livelihood. They're nice things that I enjoy and that I can get enjoyment out of, and that occasionally I can do for other people or for the benefit of charity, what have you. So for me, any little thing I do makes me happy, and it's a win. My life goal is not to become a published author, though hey, I won't say no if that ever happens, or to be credited in something that I work on. Honestly, every time that I get to see a credits of a game that I supported and I'm on it, that makes me happy. So like you take your wins where you can get them, and I have the benefit that a lot of the things that I do are things I can do for enjoyment and not because they're tied to my income. Thanks for hanging out, Mithrin. Have a lovely, lovely evening. Yes, real quick for anybody heading out, there will be no stream on Thursday because I will be at PAX Unplugged. As of right now, anticipate I will not get another stream in unless I'm I need the help to power through some sewing. But I find it unlikely because I'm probably going to be panicked about packing instead. Tentative maybe stream when I get back next Monday. I should get in Monday afternoon, so stream might happen depending on how exhausted I am. So stream next Monday, December the 4th is TBD. And if not, we'll be back next Thursday for sure. right. Got a little close on that edge there. But sometimes that's because it's hard to see. All right. We have half of the next panel. Half of the next row together. Yay us. We're not going to stitch this entire side, but we'll go ahead and do this first row because it's just the stuff I already clipped on. And should be easy enough. And then from there we will call it a night. We'll do a quick run through of last minute things. All right. Let me trim this. We will take the iron to it real quick. And then, so we've done about a third-ish of this quilt is really how this nets out. At this stage. We're not at half. That'll be when we finish this row. But I think we're actually making faster time. Once I actually got in the groove and stopped getting distracted and I have a system in, I think it's going good. All right, so let me swap scenes over to this one. So real quick, let's go through a couple of things before we call it an evening. Wow, my sewing space is a complete and utter disaster, y'all. I can't wait for the day where I can have like a legit workroom with multiple tables to do multiple things. It's gonna be so exciting. One day. So hi. Dun, dun, dun. So running through again, quick as mentioned. No stream Thursday. I will be at PAX Unplugged. For any of you who are also attending, please have safe travels. Be careful, what have you. I'll be on the train, so hopefully that will go smoothly. And getting in Thursday afternoon. So no stream, but you can catch me on the Motherlands live play on Saturday at 7 p.m. on, I believe it's PAX 3. And then Sunday, not streamed, but if you're at the show, Freelancing 301 at 1:30 p.m. in the Leviathan Theater. Maybe we'll come back and stream. I will come back and stream on Monday evening the 4th. That'll just be depending on how I'm feeling once I get in and get all settled back and what have you. Maybe I'll be bringing back things like stuff for dice making, because it sounds like we're going to have a trade of gifts and kindness around a variety of people. So I will be... Maybe we'll do a dice making stream. Who knows? And then Leaf and I are going to cause mayhem. We're gonna go. Leaf, I saved that, like, WizKids, one of them, and a couple others are doing sessions that are like, oh, come, like, you can have a mini and do, like, learn the basics of mini painting. Susie is gonna be exhausted after spending days at daycare. She's gonna be passed out, ignoring me, by the time we get to the stream. But, yeah, Leaf, we'll go find the intro to mini painting session and sit down and do that together. But yes, No stream on Thursday. I feel like it gets a little spotty right here, and then we get into the holidays. So no stream on Thursday, maybe stream next Monday. As mentioned, bringing in dice making occasionally into our live stream. I think it's going to be very casual from here on out, that I'm going to kind of be swapping around different projects. I think I'm going to save any quilting for off stream and use stream for other things. Dice making, crochet. I'll pull out some of these other projects that have been sitting waiting to be cut and done. Maybe we'll make a jacket, what have you. If I start planning now, maybe by next PAX Unplugged, I'll actually have the stuff made that I wanted to do for this PAX Unplugged. So all of that said and done, we're gonna keep it nice and easy, relaxed as we go through the end of the year and what have you. But I think this will be like the last big break until the legit, Christmas holiday in terms of skipping streams, unless something goes wildly off the rails or I catch a cold. Those things happen. So having said all of that, I'm going to switch this over to stream is ending. We're going to take a quick look. I feel like I have hit and miss whether people are actually live still at this stage that I can raid to. Don't judge me, Leaf. I mean, if you want to, you can judge me a little bit. Is there... Oh, Quesadilla is live. Let's go playing Monster Hunter World. So let's go check out Quesa. So first things first, so again, thank you all so much for hanging out. Wait, let me do I'm trying to like multitask, but I've moved all of my things into different places, so nothing's where it's supposed to be. So there's the latest right there. Raid call is Lucky Raid with the Susie or any other high emote. Withhold any judgment. I feel like there will be a lot of judgment for me. I promise Susie will get all of the head pats. So we're gonna run it over to Quesa. Quesa is good people, and we did a one-shot for charity together. So playing Monster Hunter World, so please be kind. But all that said, everyone, be safe, be healthy, happy crafting, happy gaming, and I will see you around. I probably should have pressed start raid because it takes a couple of seconds before I actually did my little closing. But it's fine. I'm totally an adult. I'm pro streamer. I know what I'm doing. So take care all, and hopefully I'll get to see a bunch of you at PAX U.